everybody. I have Craig with me today, and we're going to be talking about the idea of process discovery. Now, before we dive into that, can you give everybody a quick introduction?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name's Craig Willis. I've been working in business change and process improvement for, goodness, I guess 20 years now. I run a company called Skore. We have a software platform, cloud-based process improvement software that's all about making it quick and easy to engage people across a whole business into process improvement activities. And we work with consultants, we work with business improvement teams that often find themselves overwhelmed by trying to make sense of lots of different information that gets thrown at them, often in different formats and different file types. They're often fed up creating lots of documentation and analysis that ends up gathering digital dust on a virtual shelf somewhere. Or they're worried about their credibility in terms of how the business perceives them, because they can be sometimes seen as sort of slowing projects down, being a bit of a blocker rather than an accelerator. And so, we're all about trying to make their lives easier, to overcome some of those challenges. Just make it easier for them to engage with people. And a little bit about the way we do that is, Skore. With Skore, what we do is we break the approach to process down to some very, very simple shapes, which makes it really easy for people to learn and to read. Allows people to map processes at the speed of conversation. We provide instant analytics, so we provide insights into the processes straight away. And we provide some sort of architectural type tools to help them really kind of look at their processes at different levels and so on. It's all about bringing a kind of advanced set of tools and techniques around process improvement, make it really, really easy and accessible to anyone.
Wonderful, thank you. So obviously, you guys live and breathe in the world of process discovery, but in the world of process automation, digital transformation, I'm guilty of it myself. We're talking a lot about process mining and the value that brings to an organization. So I want to make sure as we head into this conversation that everybody kind of has a shared definition and thought process behind what's the difference of process mining and process discovery, which we'll be talking more about today.
Yeah, okay. So in our sense, process discovery, it's all about understanding the business processes, but from the point of view of people. So, how they describe it, how they understand or how they perceive the process to be. Whereas process mining is more about using technology to understand how the process actually happens using data. So you're gathering data from systems and analyzing it to look at the process. Very, very powerful, of course. It tells you an awful lot about the process. But the way that we see it is that neither of those is really a complete solution, if you like, because the problem with process discovery, as I said, is it's about what people think is happening, which is often not always what's really happening. It's perception based here, and so I think that the two of those together could actually help you build a much more complete picture, because what the mining doesn't do for you is it doesn't tell you why a process happens. It just tells you what it is. And so, doing that kind of discovery work and engaging with people and talking to them about the process, about how they're performing it, really kind of helps you dig into, what is it we're actually trying to achieve? What is the desired outcome? And then, as I said, the mining will then tell you what the actual outcome is. And also, talking to people, they will tell you about all the things they do outside of the systems, and there's often a gold mine of information. That's, the amount of times you'll hear about people printing off a piece of paper and then carrying it down the corridor and handing it to someone, and you'll go, really? This is the 21st century.
Well, and it's interesting that because that is part of the flip side when we're talking about process mining, is that, you know, when you're doing typical consulting process discovery engagements, you're getting thoughts and feelings. But at the end of the day, transformation comes down to people. And, you know, anybody who's listened to me talk for any period of time knows that change management is something I'm really passionate about. And I'd love to get your thoughts on how a process discovery plays into the idea of change management then when we're focused on the people.
Well, it goes back to this, you know, piece about the process discovery in terms of, you know, sitting in a room with a group of people, getting them to tell you about what happens in the process, what's wrong with it, you know, that sort of perception-based approach. It's a bit like a therapy session, right? It's a chance for the stakeholders involved to take a step back and you know, think more deeply about what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, and gives them that chance to really articulate the problems that they face on a day-to-day basis. Because on that day-to-day, it's just a kind of frustration they feel with the way that things work. And often people think, oh, you know, I'm going to fix that. Next week, I'm going to fix that. And, you know, giving them that opportunity to sit down and just talk through, you know, what's happening today, you know, really gives them that chance to think more deeply about it. And of course, that then allows them to generate ideas, you know, come up with, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could do this? And that's really where providing you listen to what they're saying, this is where you can really get buy-in for that change and transformation. And I think there's another thing that happens here, and it's about when you're getting people in a room together, especially because, you know, I'm sure you've experienced it. You start talking about the process, and, you know, one person's going, oh, that's how you do it. Oh, I do it this way, but actually your way is kind of better. And so you start to also build up this alignment. And it's a phrase that we like to use a lot, which is you reach a sort of shared understanding, not just of how the process operates, but the problems that everybody's experiencing. And if you get that, then you get this sort of situation where people are more accepting of a solution that you're working on. So again, it's about taking people along that journey, getting them to buy into both the need for making the change, because that's where a lot of the resistance comes from, but also giving them clarity and helping them buy into the solution that you're hopefully going to deliver and that's going to transform the way they do work.
So taking that and kind of flipping it on its head then, so obviously process discovery, having these conversations, getting the buy-in as we're going is a really incredible benefit of taking the time to have kind of more of that traditional consulting engagement. But when we take a look at like actually impacting that technology or the digital part of our transition or transformation, how does the process discovery impact that actual downstream implementation from your perspective?
Well, I mean, first of all, you've got to understand the problem so you can build a solution for it. But you can also use these sessions to start exploring, you know, what could a potential solution look like? You know, sometimes solutions are off the shelf, or you see the same problems in so many organizations. You've got a good idea of what the solution looks like, but there's still often nuances in that. So again, that I mean, I guess we're moving away from process discovery and maybe into more sort of modeling, but you're using the same approaches and techniques to have conversations with the team about, okay, if we did it this way, we might be able to do this bit better, but we might be losing something over here. Or, you know, we could try a different approach. And again, gives people that chance to think it through and see what it might look like, you know, long before you write any code or, you know, build any sort of systems, maybe if you're using some sort of low code or no code type application to do your automation. But we, you know, I said at the beginning, we work with both consultants and business improvement teams, and a lot of the consultancies we work with are doing exactly this. They're delivering automation, whether it's, you know, some sort of intelligent automation or RPA, or, you know, again, maybe some more traditional process management type automation, or, you know, even automating simple workflows in a CRM or ERP. And a few weeks ago, I was talking to one of these partners, and he made a really interesting comment. He said, a lot of our clients actually come to us with a solution in mind. And okay, we can often go and just sort of go and build the solution that they want. And, 9 times out of 10, they'll get some sort of, improvement and return on that investment. But we know that when we go and do any kind of, business analysis work, process discoveries and process improvement, on average, we're improving that return on investment by about 4 times. And so it becomes a bit of a, it becomes a bit of a different sell that they need to do with the client in terms of convincing them that actually it's worth investing a bit of extra time and a bit of extra money to do this discovery up front. Because if you do that, you've got a much better chance of really understanding the root cause of the client's problems. And I hate to say it, but too often they're not taking that time themselves, and so you can really start to then understand both the upstream and downstream processes, because often what you might find is upstream there's another problem that's actually much easier and potentially cheaper to address, and will fix the problem. Or, and this is something I've seen with RPA in the past, is you focus on one particular process, you automate that, you make it much faster because you've taken a lot of the sort of human manual processing out of it, and then all you're doing is you're pushing a bottleneck downstream, and then there's another problem somewhere else, and then you've got to immediately jump on that because the next team is being overwhelmed. So again, investing that little bit of time can not only help you improve return on investment, but in the worst possible cases, it's about helping you avoid building completely wrong solution, right? I think there's some stats, and I've been called out on this before, but there's a significantly high number of technology projects that fail to deliver the desired outcomes or the expectations that the team thought, because, and again, it's so often because there isn't enough time given or invested in really understanding the problems up front. So yeah, it's getting that investment to really understand the problem to make sure you're building the right solution. I think it's sort of simple as that.
I think that idea of, if you're going to do it, let's do it right so that you don't have to pay to redo it again, or to your point, solve a different problem that you unintentionally created. So going back to what you were saying, I think this idea of, Naviant, part of our culture is making sure that we do these types of discoveries on the front end, and that we're working with our consultants or with our customers to understand the problem, help open their eyes to the art of the possible. So everything that you said, and then it's an added benefit when process mining comes in and you can get the insights from the people and the data. And it helps you paint a much more clear picture from that perspective.
Exactly. And it does so much more as well. It's helping you, or it's helping the client build a business case, both in terms of financially, but also that sort of winning hearts and minds as well. I think it's, when you do this sort of more traditional process discovery work, you'll often be in a kind of workshop environment, and people, their eyes light up. There's this like light bulb moment where they go, goodness, is that really what we're doing? Is it, are we really doing that? There's got to be a better way. And then you start looking at some of the potential solutions, and it's going, okay, well, that's quite an investment. If you've got something like mining and they're going, okay, just look how much time is being wasted, or money, or errors is another one, right? The reduction of errors by improving a process can often be worth a lot more than just the time wasted in the manual time spent. And again, that's where mining can be really powerful.
Well, I appreciate you joining me for the conversation and helping kind of get the shared definition of discovery versus mining, and taking the time to chat with us. I would encourage anybody that's interested in learning more to make the hop over to Craig's LinkedIn, connect with him, reach out to him. we've connected that way, so I know he'll be willing to have a conversation with you. But thank you again, and have a wonderful day, everybody. If you're looking for expert tips on how to get started with your transformation or looking to hone in on your approach, make sure that you subscribe to our channel to catch our weekly Digital Transformation Talk series, where we interview experts from around the world on how to make it happen.